Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
It's a weird sensation being the teacher in the room and knowing you're not the smartest person in the room.
A local high school senior is a National Merit Scholar finalist. We'll tell you more about her and how she earned the title coming up in your education news on CBS7 News at 9. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live from the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we start tonight tracking crime. We now know the identity of the suspect who killed a man in a home invasion and led police on a multi-county chase for nearly 35 hours. This is 26-year-old Trevor Myrick from New Mexico. And according to DPS, he was shot and killed by authorities yesterday afternoon. Texas Rangers are now investigating the officer-involved shooting. The manhunt lasted a total of 35 hours. And the Midland Police Department helped recover thousands of dollars worth of stolen property. MPD got a search warrant for the 3200 block of Franklin Avenue and found multiple stolen vehicles, ATVs, generators, and a drone. According to police, it was nearly $280,000 in property. Police were able to identify Ricardo Miarez as the suspects by a white Ford 250 that was used in the thefts, which was also stolen. Officials say they arrested him and he's being held at the Midland County Jail. Police are still working to identify the other 3 remaining suspects. And residents are back in their homes today after being evacuated in a massive fire at the Targa gas plant. According to officials, the fire was caused by a leak and initially started around 6:30. Crews received the call about the blaze just before 11 o'clock and were on the scene overnight. The Midland Fire Department waited for the fire to die out and worked to evacuate residents who lived within a mile.
It was just a fire contained to the plant. While we were on scene, we were staged. There was a secondary fire that did take off from a little bit of the pressure. That probably was the boom that they heard. Wasn't necessarily an explosion, but it was enough concern for us to back off and let everything pressurize down.
The emergency management coordinator says they had to wait to put out the blaze because the nature of a gas fire like this one can put firefighters at risk, so it's safer to let it burn out.
There's a lot of pressure, and so it's easier and safer for the fire department and all emergency responders just to shut it down and let it burn off. Because if we put the fire out and it's still off-gassing, it's still blowing off gas, then that gas is probably going to settle on the land, and it can find an ignition source and explode again.
It took over 6 hours for the fire to die out and was fully contained by 6:30 this morning. Thankfully, there were no injuries reported, but there's been no word on what caused the leak yet. But we will, of course, continue to keep you updated as we learn more. Developing story for you now, Ector County faces a major issue. Many of its buildings are too old to continue to repair. That, among other projects like sharing budget money and aligning project timelines, were discussed in a 5-hour Ector County Commissioners Court workshop that happened today. No matter the department, many of the projects brought up rely on each other, which is why every department involved took the podium to talk with commissioners and share ideas about how to improve Ector County.
The best takeaway for citizens from today is that we are looking at a very bright future, and that Commissioners Court are taking a proactive stance in trying to plan for the future and being wise with taxpayer dollars and trying to get the most bang for their buck on any services and any facility, and really not continuing to sink money into old facilities and trying to come up with ways to be more efficient in providing services.
During that 5-hour meeting, the commissioners made a single decision to pull requests for a proposal for Schleiermacher Airport. The county will now pursue plans to operate it. Now looking ahead to the May 2024 special election, the Midland City Council at-large seat will be on the ballot, and there are 5 candidates. Those 5 men will be talking about their goals in a debate on Basin PBS this Thursday, April 18th. That's tomorrow. CBS7's Mary Kate Hamilton will be moderating that debate. And if you miss it, you can catch it again on KWWT My 30 on Tuesday, April 30th at 7 p.m. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller. Tom, what can we expect this week?
Well, we are going to be looking at some big changes coming up in our forecast tomorrow, though. Record high temperatures look to be on the way. Got a break from the high clouds across the area this evening, and we are looking at pretty quiet conditions out there across West Texas as humidity levels are right around 5 to 10% across the area, so they are starting to improve a little bit as we are seeing current winds across the area out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then the wind gusts are not all that bad across the area. As current temperatures, again, still warm, about 80 degrees or so across West Texas. Again, take a look at that future cast here over the next 24 hours. We're going to see that front roll in, not before we see temperatures in the mid-90s tomorrow. Those are going to roll in into the evening, and we are going to see, again, cooler temperatures on the way. Rain looks like it's holding off until late on Friday night into Saturday, so keep that in mind with your outdoor plans to start the weekend.
Thank you, Tom. And like you were just talking about, this weekend's weather predictions have caused a number of local events to be canceled or moved inside, including the 2024 Share Walk. The annual event will now take place at the Horseshoe Arena. But don't worry, all your favorite things about the event are still happening, rain or shine. This free event will have family-friendly activities, prizes from multiple categories, but most importantly, celebrate special needs and disabilities throughout the Permian Basin.
These families have to spend a lot of money on therapies. Here in our area, we don't have a lot of the resources that we need, or very limited. Some of our families need occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, or ABA therapy.
Like we said earlier, this is a free event, and if you want to register for the walk, you can visit our website, CBS7.com. And like we mentioned earlier, there are a few community events that are being canceled due to forecasted weather conditions, including the City of Odessa's vaccine clinic, as well as the city's Take Me Fishing event. And UTBB has postponed the university's annual Kite Fest. Be sure to check in with these organizations for information on rescheduling. And it's day 3 of the Odessa YMCA's 5 Days of Action program. It's a week-long campaign that raises awareness for child sexual abuse. According to the YMCA, 1 in 20 boys and 1 in 4 girls in the United States of America experience that abuse. The YMCA of Odessa believes that adults knowing the facts of child sexual abuse can help them understand what to look out for.
Important thing is having that conversation with your child, starting at a young age all the way through teens, knowing what to look for, any of the signs, and just being open, keeping those lines of communication open between parent and a child.
For more information about the 5 Days of Action campaign, you can visit the YMCA website. Now for a story that's all new here at 9 o'clock. This week, millions of Texas students are taking the STAR test. But this year's grading system is a little different from previous years. CBS7's Tyler Poglich spoke with Representatives Brooks Landgraf and ECISD Superintendent Dr. Scott Murray about how this year's grading system for all open-ended portions of the STAR test will be graded by AI software. Tyler?
Yeah, Lauren, over the last 2 days, students have been taking their STAR exams. But this year, students will be graded differently than in years past.
You know, we're told not to use ChatGPT, when we're doing our schoolwork, and it seems kind of hypocritical for us to be told not to use that, but then here we are being graded with the same type of technology.
For the first time, the Texas Education Agency is using automated scoring software, also known as AI, to score the open-ended questions on the STAR test for several subjects.
You know, I'm not surprised by that. The sophistication of artificial intelligence today really allows us to use it in a variety of areas. So I was not surprised that we're using it in that realm.
Before this software was introduced, the state hired third-party contractors to grade students' tests. But with the new grading format, the state will end up saving over $10 million from not having to hire outside resources.
The explanation that I've been given is that the number of responses on the STAR exam that need some sort of grading, whether it's from a human or from an AI type of program, have increased, and that's what's justifying this.
Over the last several years, Representative Landgraf has spoken out about his concerns with the STAR test, and this year is no different. Some of the concerns Landgraf has with the STAR test is that it costs way too much money, where distributing this test costs the state annually over $70 million. Another is that it stresses students and teachers out, and it doesn't give an accurate representation of all students.
But the STAR test is not the best way to do that. We see other states, 27 states in fact, right around there, are using the standardized test that was formed in Iowa. It doesn't have nearly the same problems that we're seeing with STAR, and I think that's something that Texas has to evaluate.
For Dr. Murray, the TEA gave a notice to not just ECISD, but all districts in Texas about the idea of using AI grading for a portion of the test, but it wasn't made clear of just exactly how much of a role it was going to have.
But there were some smaller elements of communication, so we were aware. Didn't know the scope of that, didn't fully understand how it was going to be used, but we were initially aware that it was going to be used.
Representative Landgraf would go on to say that in the initial runs of the test scores done by AI, there were more grades of 0 on prompts, which caused concerns for Landgraf and teachers across West Texas. Reporting for CBS 7 First Alert News, I'm Tyler Poglich.
Thank you, Tyler. Last night, ECISD trustees discussed an anticipated $24 million budget deficit for the next school year. According to ECISD, the state of Texas has not increased the basic allotment for public education since 2019. But despite those rising inflation numbers, the district hopes to combat this by making significant cuts, including not filling positions in the central office and elementary school paraprofessionals, reorganizing middle school double block schedules, and increasing class sizes. The district says these reductions would shrink the potential budget deficit from $24 million to $12 million. An Odessa High varsity choir member, International Baccalaureate Program advocate, and newly announced Stanford commit. These are just a few of the accomplishments from local student Anika Gundlapalli, and now she's adding National Merit Scholarship recipient to her list of accolades. The process of becoming a National Merit Scholar starts out pretty simple. Just take the pre-SAT and then wait. If your score meets requirements, that's when things get a little more complicated. Once you qualify as a semi-finalist, you can apply to be considered as a finalist. This means having a teacher recommendation, writing an essay, and describing your extracurriculars and taking the actual SAT. Then there's some more waiting and hoping that you get the call.
I was really grateful. I tried to do my best on the PSAT, and then I found out I was a semi-finalist, and I did the application and I didn't think about it, and then Miss Moreno told me I was a finalist.
Anika is in the top 0.5% of the 1.3 million high schoolers that applied when taking the PSAT in 2022. More education news now. The hashtag Grow and Develop can be seen all over the Midland ISD social media, and it's something the district took action on last night after 3 educators decided to further their careers with MISD. These educators include a new executive director of fine arts, new principal of Goddard Junior High, and the principal for Northwest Midland, which is the newest elementary school in the district. Bo Garza, who is currently the lead orchestra director at Legacy, is now the executive director of fine arts, and he spoke to CBS7 about the change.
Reaching out to the community and letting the community know that we are ready and we are so excited to cheer on the success of our kids.
MISD says that they hope these new hires will continue to help the district grow and improve. And still ahead, we're taking a look at a local art project that's nearly 5 years in the making. The story next on CBS 7 News at 9. Take a look at this. Students at an MISD elementary school have finally completed an art project 5 years after it started. Students at Jones Elementary started collecting bottle caps back in 2019 while they were in the 2nd grade, all with the intention of creating a mosaic-style mural. After lengthy delays due to COVID and changes to the school's art program, the finished project was finally unveiled today, a mural with more than 2,500 bottle caps.
Okay, I'm determined to get it done by the end of their 6th grade year. It has to get done before they leave this campus.
Students collected and separated the bottle caps based on color, then painted the ones that they needed for the final design. The mural will hang in the Jones campus library.
Well, we are going to see another scorcher in our forecast. Temperatures tomorrow could be near record highs. Then here comes a cold front. We'll talk about what it's going to do to the forecast up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, it was a hot one today across the area, but it's even going to be worse coming up tomorrow. Look at these high temperatures today into the lower 90s. Usually we sit about 80 degrees this time of the year on the afternoon high, so a big change out there across the area. And even more of this is in the forecast before that front arrives. Got rid of some of the high cloudiness out there. There's actually a couple of thunder showers roaming across the eastern portions of the Concho Valley at the present time, and moving off to the east. Weather makers right now kind of in between storm system, but there's another one back here across portions of the Pacific Northwest. That's what's going to help whip that front through coming up late tomorrow in the afternoon, evening hours. Then we're going to watch a couple of disturbances roll across, and as that happens, rain chances on the increase this weekend. Right now we could be looking at some heavier rain, but we'll kind of hold our breath on this one and see how everything materializes. Again, it's a warm evening out there. There's that dry line setting up to our east where those isolated showers and thunderstorms popped up. It's going to stay to the east coming up tomorrow till that front arrives. And temperatures across the state, well, we are looking at those readings into the mid to upper 70s in many locations. The warmest stuff, again, back here across portions of West Texas. Futurecast showing that we may see a few clouds in the morning hours, and some of that high cloudiness is going to continue to stream across the area for tomorrow afternoon. Here comes that front later on in the afternoon into the evening hours, but the thunderstorms associated with it are going to stay off to the east. We're going to see plenty of clouds build in though behind that front, and we may see a thunder shower across the Trans-Pecos Mountain areas into Friday evening before we see better chances start to roll in towards Saturday morning. Winds, well, they're going to come around to the north and northeast coming up tomorrow afternoon by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Could be some pockets of blowing dust associated with that, as we could see winds sustained close to 30 miles an hour, gusts near 40 associated with that. In the meantime, though, pretty quiet overnight. A little milder out there, only the lower 60s on the way across the Permian Basin. Then tomorrow could be tying or above record high temperatures tomorrow afternoon with the mid-90s on the way. And again, those rain chances on the increase late on Friday, but especially on Saturday. Rarely do I throw an 80% chance in the forecast, but again, looks like early Saturday morning is going to be the best bet on some rain showers, thunder showers. Then it'll taper off towards Sunday morning. Look at those temperatures really cooling off too this weekend.
Still ahead, leaders in one Texas school district are taking action to keep students safe while riding on their school buses. The details on the vote next in your news across Texas on CBS7 News at 9. Across Texas, leaders in one school district are taking action to keep students safe while riding on their school buses. School board members in Hays County, Texas voted on Monday to buy new buses equipped with seat belts. This comes after a school bus crash killed a 5-year-old boy last month. Abigail Villegas has more.
While we can't go back in time and undo what's been done, we can come together to make our community a safer place for our kids moving forward.
The community asked and the school board listened. The Hays Consolidated ISD Board of Trustees approved a new fleet of school buses fully equipped with seatbelts for every passenger. This follows a deadly crash involving one of its buses on March 22nd.
We don't know if a seatbelt would have made a difference in this accident.
5-year-old Tom Green Elementary pre-K student Ulises Rodriguez Montoya died in the crash. The bus in which he was riding in that day was an older model without seatbelts. In 2017, a state law took effect requiring school buses to have seatbelts.
So you can see in here, they have the seat belts for the big kids. Even the first couple of seats have seat belts for infants.
Tim Savoy is the communications director for Hayes CISD. He says funding isn't an issue in this matter. Timeliness is.
If we could go down to a dealership and buy some school buses tomorrow, we'd do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. It's just that when you order school buses, there aren't very many manufacturers across the country to get them from, and so it takes time.
The new fleet of buses and upgrades to older models is expected to cost the district about $500,000, but Savoy says with bonds, grants, and general growth of the town, the cost is not the problem. Studies show it takes about 12 months after a purchase to receive a new bus.
Baby steps, yep.
Meanwhile, some Hayes CISD school bus drivers are raising their concerns to board members.
So what is going to make them wear the seatbelts?
Nicole Blakely and Caitlin Holden are district bus drivers. They say along with this approved plan, they want a disciplinary plan in place as well to make sure students actually wear their seatbelts.
And while I have been driving all of those kids consistently for the last 4 years and they know me, they still aren't going to listen to me, no matter what. If there's no policy that states that you need to wear them and there's no action against if you don't wear them, then all this money and time and effort and all of these community members that have come forth to speak, it will mean nothing.
Well, we are going to see hot stuff tomorrow. Temperatures into the mid to upper 90s before a change has headed our way. That's right.
All right. Well, we've got more news coming up on CBS 7 News at 10. Thanks for joining us tonight on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW.